Alrighty, welcome back in. I'm now going to be reviewing the games from Wednesday's action of the Major League Baseball season. The Los Angeles Dodgers were continuing their series with the Minnesota Twins. The Twins would be victorious in this matchup. 3-2 would be the final score. Minnesota is now sitting at 4-6 after the victory. The Dodgers are 10-5 after the loss. Cody Funderburk, I apologize, is now 1-0 as a starter. Alex Vesia suffered the loss for the Dodgers, and Steven Okert would get his first save of the year. The Philadelphia Phillies were taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. They would get a road victory. 4-3 would be the final score. They have now evened up their record at 6-6. After the loss, the Cardinals are now one game below 500. They're sitting at 6-7. Aaron Nola is 2-1 as a starter. After the win, Andre Pallante is 0-1, and Jeff Hoffman picked up his first save for the Phillies. The Seattle Mariners were wrapping up their series with the Toronto Blue Jays. They would lose the series, but they would win this particular game. 6-1 would be the final score. They are now sitting at 5-8. Toronto is now one game below 500. They are sitting at 6-7. Andres Munoz is now 1-1 as starter, while Tim Meza suffered the loss. He is 0-1. The Arizona Diamondbacks went into Colorado to take on the Rockies. They would get a 5-3 victory in this matchup. They are now one game below 500, sitting at 6-7. After the loss, the Rockies have now suffered 10 losses on the season. They are 3-10. Joe Mantiply is now 1-0 as a starter after the victory. Justin Lawrence is 0-1 as a starter, and Kevin Ginkel got his second save for the Diamondbacks. The Washington Nationals were taking on the San Francisco Giants. The Giants would win this one in a big way. 7-1 would be the final score, bringing their record to 5-8. The Nationals are now sitting at 5-7. Jordan Hicks is 2-0 as a starter, and Patrick Corbin, is 0-2. The Tampa Bay Rays were taking on the Los Angeles Angels. The Rays are now 7-6 after a 4-2 victory, after the loss, the Angels are now back to 500 with a 6-6 record. Kevin Kelly is 1-0 as a starter. Jose Soriano is 0-2, and Pete Fairbanks got his second save for the Rays. Now, this game doesn't show a final score, so I'm not 100% sure what happened between the White Sox and the Cleveland Guardians, but when I review Thursday's action, I'll be able to tell if any of these records changed if this game was postponed. But Fede, I believe is how you pronounce his name, was to be the starting pitcher for Chicago, and Beebe was the starting pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. But again, there's no actual final results on this matchup, so when I do my Thursday review, like I just said, I'll be able to tell if these teams actually played and what their record is standing at then. The Chicago Cubs went into San Diego to take on the Padres. The Padres would get 10 runs in this contest. 10-2 would be the final score. They are now sitting just one game below 500 with a 7-8 record. After the loss, the Cubs are 7-5. Dylan Cease is 1-1 as a starter. Kyle Hendricks suffered his second loss of the year. He's 0-2. The Milwaukee Brewers went into Cincinnati to take on the Reds. 7-2 would be the final score. They have now improved to 8-3 on the season. After the loss, the Reds are now 6-6. Bryce Wilson's 1-0 as a starter. Hunter Green is 0-1 so far. A bit of an upset in New York as the Miami Marlins would finally get their second win of the season. 5-2 would be the final score. They are now sitting at 2-11, and despite the loss, the Yankees still have the best record in the AL East with a 10-3 margin. Ryan Weathers is 1-1 as a starter. Marcus Stroman suffered his first loss of the season, and Tanner Scott got his first save of the year. The Baltimore Orioles were taking on the Boston Red Sox. They would get a 7-5 victory, getting their seventh win of the season. They are now sitting at 7-4. After the loss, the Red Sox are 7-5. A lot of sevens in that matchup. Mike Bowman's now 1-0 as a starter. Chris Martin suffered his first loss. He's 1-1. And Craig Kimbrell got his second save for the Orioles. Alrighty, the Houston Astros were taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my gosh, I have football on my mind. I apologize. To Kansas City Royals. The Royals would win big 11-2 would be the final score. They are now sitting at 8-4. After the loss, the Astros have now dropped to 4-9. Seth Lugo would get his second win of the season, while Spencer Arrighetti suffered his loss. He's now 0-1. Alrighty, the last matchup from Wednesday took place in Texas, where we had the Rangers playing host to the Oakland A's. The Rangers would win this contest, tripling up the score 6-2 over the A's. They are now sitting at 7-5, while the A's are now four games below 500 with a 4-8 record. Cody Bradford's now 3-0 as a starter on the season for Texas, while Ross Stripling is 0-3. Alrighty, that takes care of my recap from Wednesday's action of the Major League Baseball season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, take care.